Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, folks, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Right now, it is pulled back a bit, as well as other assets. And that's because the DXY, folks, is pumping really hard. Look at this green candle on the daily chart. Looks pretty strong. And this is because we got news today that the CPI numbers came in higher than anticipated at 3.1%. The expectation was 2.9%. So we can anticipate the Fed is going to keep rates a little higher for longer. And not that they're going to increase, but sustain them at the current rate. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out. Once again, the DXY is moving strong. And what we've seen is that when DXY is moving upwards, assets go downwards and vice versa. So let's be patient. And it goes back to what I've been saying for Bitcoin, that I anticipate Bitcoin needs to have a pullback, build some support levels before we continue moving to higher highs. But I could be completely wrong. Once again, there's a bullish and a bearish scenario. It's always the question is always which has the higher probability of playing out. And that's not something a lot of people want to hear and they don't want to think about. They want absolutes. They want certainties. You must tell me that the price is going up, or you must tell me the price is going down. But the point is, we have other factors at play that could affect the price. So we can form our thesis and update it accordingly based on the facts changing. But like I said, Bitcoin seeing a little bit of a pullback, nothing major. The S&P 500 also doing the same thing. The NASDAQ also doing the same thing. So let's see how the week plays out. Let's see how things play out in the coming weeks as well. Long term, from the macro, as I've been stating, I'm bullish. I'm anticipating new highs this year. I'm expecting new all-time highs in 2025 with a blow-off top, at which point I'll be taking profits on Bitcoin and altcoins as well. Now let's jump into some news items. Today, Ripple announced that they have signed a deal to acquire standard custody, strengthening their product offerings and adding to their growing portfolio of regulatory licenses around the world. Now, as many of you know, Standard Custody is a custodian and they were owned by PolySign. And unfortunately, PolySign found themselves in a very tough financial situation where they had to, I believe, declare bankruptcy, which really sucks because, you know, I was very bullish on what they were doing. They had acquired other companies like MG Stover, and I believe they were working with Cowen. But unfortunately, and we don't have all the details, things did not pan out. So there's good and bad here. Ripple expanding their business, being able to have more custody services, more licenses, more opportunity for the XRP ledger to be integrated around the world and with different companies. But the unfortunate part is that PolySign clearly is in trouble. And this is a way of maybe Ripple helping them, bailing them out a bit, because David Schwartz, who's the CTO of Ripple, is of course on the PolySign board. So it is what it is, folks. It really sucks for the folks at PolySign. I really like Jack McDonald, who I've had on the podcast quite a few times, actually. And I'm hoping things work out for them ultimately. And I know they're trying to figure out things and see what path the company is going to go in next. And, Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, weighed in on this news. He said, with standard custody, we'll be able to improve existing product offerings for our customers, as well as explore new products and use cases, all in a fully compliant way. To date, Ripple has secured nearly 40 U.S. money transmitter licenses, MPI license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and a vast registration with Central Bank of Ireland and counting. So once again, good news for Ripple, not so great news for PolySign, and Ripple continues to expand. Ripple's president, Monica Long, weighed in here. She said, as we integrate custody more deeply into Ripple's products, we see clear synergies with standard custody to complement our payments and custody offerings, all in service of being a one-stop shop to move, convert, and store value with blockchain and crypto. So great news there. Now today, and I believe it's happening on multiple days, if I'm not wrong, was the Exchange ETF conference. This has nothing to do specifically with crypto. It's about ETFs. But Matt Hogan from Bitwise, he highlighted the following. He's there. He said the Bitcoin ETF session was one of the most crowded sessions I saw at the Exchange ETF conference. Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business was there, and she was reporting on the conversations and things that have been discussed. And there was a discussion between Matt Hogan, Steve Kurtz. Let's see, he's from which company is he from here? Galaxy Digital. They also had Dave Lavelle from Grayscale. And here's a conversation they had about the odds of an Ethereum spot ETF being approved. Matt Hogan said, I think it's probable we will get an ETH ETF reasonably soon. I think there's a 50-50 chance by May. But the bigger story is what's going on with the Bitcoin ETFs. Steve Kurtz said, this is just the beginning of a crypto asset renaissance. I think 50-50 by May and 75% by the end of the year. Eric to Dave, will you sue the SEC again if they don't approve the ETH spot ETF? So Dave is from Grayscale, so Grayscale sued the SEC about the Bitcoin spot ETF. Dave said, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. We have to look at the facts, but I put the odds of approval at 50-50 by May. So let's see, folks, like I said in the previous podcast, the ETH ETF, it's a bit more complex. There's more baggage that comes with this. It's not as straightforward as the Bitcoin ETF because of the security aspect, because of the history of the SEC and what they've been saying about ETH and what Gary Gensler refuses to say now. And you have the staking component, and there are a lot of ERC20 tokens being built on the Ethereum blockchain. So it just depends how the SEC is going to treat this. Maybe Congress acts and all of these things will be put to bed and they become a moot point. Or Gary Gensler, because it's an election year, decides to approve these, and he knows he's going to take another court loss if he denies them. And BlackRock and all these folks are here wanting the ETH ETF. So it's very interesting times. The Bitcoin ETF was a little less dramatic, if you want to put it, but the ETH is going to be, there's going to be a lot of baggage here, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, speaking of ETFs, there's an update on the BlackRock Fidelity holdings in their ETFs. Combined, it's now at 171,705 Bitcoin, worth $8.3 billion. That's insane. That's after 4 or 5 weeks. That's insane. And this thing is not being marketed fully yet to all the RIAs or wealth managers. We're going to get there, and it's a process, but amazing. Pretty soon BlackRock will be able to surpass MicroStrategy in the number of Bitcoin they hold. It's amazing what's taking place. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is a great crypto platform that I've been using since 2017. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. You can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all the top altcoins. And I've interviewed the CEO, CFO, and many representatives from Uphold. You can also trade precious metals on this platform, such as gold, silver, palladium, platinum. They have tons of stable coins as well as fiat currencies. They're available in over 150 countries. And best of all, they're fully reserved. You can go review their transparency reports, and they don't commingle or lend out your funds, so you can trust that your funds are safe. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please check out the link in the description. Now, speaking of exchanges, Coinbase and Ledger, the hardware wallet, have partnered. So Ledger, they tweeted out, we're excited to announce that Coinbase Pay is now available as a buy provider through Ledger Live. Use your Coinbase login to buy crypto and have it immediately secured with your Ledger. So I'm a Ledger hardware user. I'm also a Coinbase user because I have multiple exchange accounts. As mentioned, I use Uphold as well. And it's important, folks, to have multiple exchange accounts in case one is having problems at a period of time, right? Let's say their server's down or whatever, there's a lot of traffic. You can always move your funds and go to another exchange to cash out. So it's just a smart thing to do. Now, Ledger, I use the hardware wallet. If you want to buy one, check out the affiliate link in the description. It supports the podcast. It's my preferred go-to hardware wallet that I use to store my crypto. And this is a great partnership. The fact that Coinbase is partnering with them, so that's good. And we'll see what else they come up with as things progress. Now, Robinhood reports crypto revenue of $43 million. So the company's transaction-based revenues were boosted by its cryptocurrencies revenue, which came in at $43 million. Overall, transaction-based revenues were up 8% year over year to $200 million. So, folks, this is why Robinhood and these other firms like PayPal have expanded to crypto. There's money to be made here. There's demand for this asset class, and competition is healthy for the market. You have these traditional payment companies getting involved in crypto and competing with crypto exchanges. Competition is always healthy for the consumer because it helps improve the standard of user experience, lower costs and fees and things along those lines, because everybody's trying to grab market share, trying to differentiate themselves, trying to get as many customers as possible. Monthly active users were down 4% to 10.9 million. The company's assets under custody also increased to $102.6 billion, a 65% increase year over year. The report from Robinhood added that it plans to explore opportunities to continue growing its customer base outside the US following its expansion into the UK and EU with the brokerage waitlist launch and the European Union crypto launch. Folks, I hope you see what's happening. These companies recognize what's on the horizon. They want to grab as much market share, go global, increase their revenue, and anybody who's on the fence about crypto as a company, I'm talking to you guys at Vanguard. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. So, folks, the building and the expansion continues. Final item here. We got news that former Binance CEO CZ sentencing delayed until April. The original sentencing was scheduled for late February. So, quick update there. So the delay pushes Zhao's, Changpeng Zhao is his full name, sentencing back 2 months. He originally was set to be sentenced on February 23rd after pleading guilty to the charges late last year. The former executive, per sentencing guidelines, is expected to face around 18 months in prison. A report from the New York Times last year suggested that officials could seek a stiffer penalty. Zhao stepped down from his position at Binance as part of the settlement deal with the Department of Justice. He also agreed to pay a $50 million fine. So we'll see what comes out from this, folks. I don't think his sentencing is going to be ridiculous because he's working with the regulators and the law authorities, and they paid a ridiculous fine, of course. So I think this was, I talked about it at the time, the cleaning up of the market. There was a big question mark around Binance and its business practices. I'm not saying they did anything illegal. I think in the early days in the Wild Wild West, everybody was doing things that was not up to par with KYC, AML. And now the governments are saying, no, that's not going to happen. Pay your penalty. You can still stay in business. They didn't shut Binance down. Binance.com is still, around. You can still access it. You can still do business. They have a new CEO, of course. So this was all the part of the cleanup of the crypto market. And I think Sam Bankman-Fried getting his jail sentence is also a big thing that's coming up in March. And, he's got to go to jail, as well as Alex Mashinsky from Celsius. And Congress needs to pass regulations and get all the regulators doing their job, focus on the right things, dividing and conquering, where you have CFTC doing their thing, they know their role, the SEC doing their thing, knowing their role, and not stifling the innovation, not, being arbitrary and capricious like Gary Gensler and the SEC, not breaking the law and being hypocrites, but following the laws that are being put forth. This is why we need Congress to act. Final item here, folks. Merlin is the smartest way to track your crypto. Merlin is a great platform that allows you to set price targets that you want to sell at. And the thing is, Merlin will track it and alert you when those price targets are near or hit, so that you can then go ahead and execute your trades, whether you're buying or selling, folks. So Merlin is a great way to do this. I've historically done it on spreadsheets and Google Sheets. And of course, it's a tedious process and you have to keep checking the markets. Well, Merlin makes it easy where you can do that. There's a 30-day free trial that you can go sign up and check it out and see if you like it and see if it's for you. The great thing is you can connect your crypto exchange accounts and it'll take a snapshot of what you have, so you don't have to go manually enter all these things. You just set your price targets, right? And I've often talked about having a cash out plan. You can cash out in a ladder phase, right? Where we don't know what the top is going to be for many of these prices or coins. So we have to cash out in phases and take a ladder approach. So Merlin makes it easy, folks. And I'm a user of the product. I know the guys who created it. And if you want to learn more about Merlin, check out the link in the description.